Sure. I'm Mark Schwarze. I'm an associate professor here in the HPC department, specifically in the clinical mental health program. I'm also the coordinator of the addiction certificate that we have housed in our program, as well as just as recently stepped down as the director. I've served as the director of the program for the past 7 years as well. I've been here. This is my 8th year. Before I was here, I was at another university in North Carolina, the University of North Carolina at Pembroke, for 2.5 years as a professor, and also worked there in the counseling center as the assistant director of their counseling center there for about 7 or 8 years before that. So I've been in higher ed. I was counting this up today, actually, about 16 years now. So I've been around a little bit. Yeah, I've actually got quite a bit going on research-wise right now. With my agenda is focused around addictions issues. That's something that I've been interested in my whole career. I've spent a lot of time clinically working in the addictions field, but right now I'm looking at. I'm really interested in the neurobiology of addiction, and so I've got 2 research studies going. One is focusing specifically on looking at what family counselors who work in addictions treatment centers are doing with family members of loved ones who have a substance use disorder, what they're doing with them around educating them about the neurobiology of addiction. So my guess is that some of that is happening out there, but is not as much as I think should be happening. So we're doing a national survey of counselors who work in treatment centers, kind of getting a sense of what they do with family members on those in family treatment and education in the programs that they have, specifically looking at what kinds of topics that they're covering and focusing on around education and intervention. And so we also are asking them about their comfort level, their efficacy around talking about the neurobiology of addiction with family members as well. A second study is doing something very similar, but we're looking at school counselors. So I'm working with some other professors at other universities who are school counseling folks, and we are looking at how comfortable school counselors are with addressing addictions issues with their families that they work with and the students that they work with. So how comfortable they are doing that, how much that they do around that. So those are 2 studies that I've got rolling right now. I'm also working on a 3rd manuscript with some students in our program who I've developed an interest around the idea of wellness and mental health. So this idea around exercise and nutrition and kind of full body holistic wellness and how that influences mental health. But I'm very much interested in how it influences mental health neurobiologically. So does good nutrition and exercise change things neurobiologically to the point that it can mitigate mental health symptoms? And so I'm working on some of that with 2 of our students in our program, and we're going to write a manuscript kind of thinking about what diet and what a partnership with a mental health counselor and a dietitian might look like. I think that depends on the student and the day that you might catch them on, but I would hope that they would know that I'm passionate about this work. I would hope that they would know and say that I'm funny, because that's that sense of humor is important to me. I use that in my counseling style and in my personal style and in my teaching style. I think that's important. I would hope that they would say that I'm compassionate and empathetic and kind of teach and advise and mentor with the same types of counseling foundations that I use for my counseling, which is those core person-centered pieces. I know that they're, when they get into a program like ours, that they're under a lot of stress to, manage a lot of different things coming at them. And so I hope that I can, while I am one of the people that are contributing to that stress, because I'm a professor and providing those assignments and sort of requirements as well, I hope I'm also helping to put that stuff into perspective and help them get through in a healthy way. Well, I think I know how they are because I have lots of experience, and right now I'm involved in lots of things at the state level and to some degree the national level, with being the vice chair of the North Carolina Licensure Board for Mental Health Counselors. And I was a previous president of the North Carolina Counseling Association. So that those roles have allowed me to be involved with people in the field at the state level and the national level. And what I continually encounter with that is our graduates doing great things out in the field. I see them going out and doing the work of counseling, working with clients, but yet also becoming advocates and leaders in the field. They're on committees, on these boards and associations that I just talked about. Our students are out there, or I say our students, our graduates are out there, doing these things. They're on committees, they're serving in leadership roles, and they are making a real difference. They're opening up their own private practices, and they're specializing, and they're finding their passions. And so I think our students, and I also have data, we have raw data in our program because we survey our employers, the people that employ our graduates, and we ask them how's our folks doing, and they consistently say that App State students from the CMHC program that come and work for us are consistently better counselors than from maybe other programs, and that is because we focus specifically on training our students on how to be in therapeutic relationships with their clients. I mean, that is a big factor and focus on what we do. But I think for us, one of the things that really distinguishes us is the availability of our faculty to our students and the types of mentoring relationships that we have. We get to know our students on a professional level and to some degree a personal level, so that we can help them and understand where they're coming from and their challenges while they're in the program. And we're able to, kind of use that kind of relationship to help them make the best choices, think about their own personal wellness, think about the things that are good for them so that they feel excited and ready to hit the ground running when they graduate from the field. So I can tell you that I have long-standing relationships with our alumni, folks who have graduated our program that I had a hand in training, continually reach out to me, and I reach out to them to see what they're up to and what they're doing. I think that is really invaluable to have that kind of mentoring relationship with your faculty and the students is really powerful. I also think that most of all of our faculty in the CMHC program really approach mental health from a holistic standpoint. We know it's more than just talk therapy. We know it's more than just a CBT approach or traditional kinds of approaches. We know that there's lots of things that might work for different types of people, and we're willing to explore, those things, whether it be expressive arts or some other type of holistic wellness approach, and incorporating that with evidence-based approaches and really kind of having someone be able to be well-rounded and really meet the needs of their client is one of our strengths. And also, I would say finally, another strength is we have lots of options for students to kind of explore things that they're interested in as part of our program. 18 hours of the 60 hours of our program is allowing students to kind of find what gets them excited about the counseling field and explore that, academically through classwork or field experience. And I know other programs have some element of that too, but I think that we have a unique aspect of that. Sure. We get lots of applications to our program. We're a sought after program. I might get anywhere from 150 to 200 applications in a given cycle, and we take about 22 students. So it's really competitive. So what I say to students is that if they apply to our program, use that paper application, that's sort of that online application, to really help us get to know who you are. Talk about who you are genuinely and authentically. Put put the reasons down why you're interested in our program specifically. But probably the most important thing is make sure that you know what you're getting into. Make sure that you understand why you want to be a counselor versus being a social worker or a psychologist or some other way. There's lots of ways to be a professional helper. There's lots of disciplines. So why counseling? What is it about the field and our values and our ethics that attract you to wanting to be a professional helper through our discipline? And one way that students can kind of figure that out is to go to the code of ethics of all of those disciplines and read through that code of ethics, because inherently in that code of ethics contains the values of that field. And so if the values of counseling really speak to you and are part of what your own values, then this might be a good fit. But make sure that you are understanding what the differences are between the disciplines, because we look for that in those questionnaires and some of the things that people fill out. We want to make sure that people understand that they want to be counselors in this field, and just really kind of try to shine through and let us know who you are.